Hey, good morning and welcome to the Washington County Chamber of Commerce February meeting. I'm glad to see we all made it through the snow and the ice. I'm going to call this meeting to order. It is 11 o'clock and you should have received a copy of the minutes on your email for the meeting today. If anybody had a chance to look them over, and if so, do we have a motion to accept?
I will make a motion to accept the minutes.
All right, thank you, Stephen. And do we have a second?
I'll second that.
All right, and all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. We'll move on to new member and board announcements. I have a very special, much anticipated announcement to make. I apologize that our camera isn't on for you today, but sitting with me is Jula Bayless, our brand new executive director for the Washington County Chamber of Commerce. Can I get a drum roll? Can I get some applause? We're very, very, very excited to have her on board. I'll probably have her say a few words at next month's meeting for us, which may or may not be in person. Kind of excited about that as well. If you have a chance to reach out to her to welcome her personally, you can reach her at our chamber phone line, which is 572-438-4517, or you can reach her at info@washcomochamber.com. Jula has lived in Washington County for most of her life, and she comes to us with an experience in several sectors. She's a small business owner and has experience in the healthcare and education industry. She's passionate about our community and excited to be a part of our growth. Please welcome her. As I said, I told you how you can get a hold of her to welcome her personally. Right now, she's housed in the IDA office, but we are looking to have her set up in the former license office very shortly. We're working on getting internet over there. So, yay, welcome, Jula. All righty, upcoming chamber events. I won't read these all off, but they're here. As you know, we do 3 morning radio interviews with KREI with Mark Tody. We do the morning drive on KFMO with Mike Ramsey, and the radio show on Froggy 96. There's dates for each one of those. Our next board meeting is March 9th. Our next general meeting in March is the 25th. And next up, we have our illustrious presiding commissioner of Washington County, Dave Sansegraw. Thank you for joining us today, Dave. Usually we have Dave come and speak to us every January just to talk to us about the state of the county, what's going on. And so we delayed that a little bit this year, but we're pleased to have him on now. Hold on, I'm gonna let everybody else in. Well, welcome, Dave.
Thank you, Janie. I appreciate it. Thanks, everyone. First of all, I just want to start off by thanking the Chamber for having me and thanking the Chamber for all the good work that they do in the community. I know it's challenging for everyone, especially when it's a volunteer organization, but you guys do a good job, and I appreciate your efforts. I'd like to start by recapping a little bit of the budget. As we know, our last year was pretty challenging for not only for us, but for the entire country as a whole with the coronavirus. We've worked diligently with different organizations to try to combat and get this under control. And I want to give a shout out to our healthcare workers, our ambulance district, especially our health department for the many, many hours that they've put in fighting this and running these things down and giving shots, and the clinics that they're holding now. These guys need your prayers and need your uplifting to keep them strong and going. We appreciate all their hard work. I want to touch a little bit on our budget from last year. Our total operating budget for the year is going to be revenue totaling about $16,275,000. As you know, a lot of that funds is coming from tax funds. We have several grants that we've gotten. Washington County Airport has gotten $271,000 in grants. We're completing some projects out there with obstruction removal, and as you noticed, we've got a brand new entrance that is in and open. That was conducted, and we did that with monies that we got from the federal government for this program. So we're trying to rebuild and redo and make nice everything we can. Sales tax was up. We were very worried early on in 2020 when the coronavirus hit that we were going to be, in sales tax. We were worried that we weren't going to have where we needed to be. To our surprise, we ended the year about $289,000 over and what we anticipated, which was awesome. Simply said, that just goes to show that the people that live in Washington County stayed and shopped in Washington County and not going out. Hopefully that will continue. I realize that probably once things opened up, people will start going out more, but that's a testament to the folks that live here and they spent their dollars at home. So we do appreciate that. We've tried to provide a fair wage for our employees. We were able to give everyone a raise that works for the county. We now have a starting pay rate for the courthouse employees of $12 an hour. We're pretty proud of that, to be able to keep moving the wages up as long as the tax revenue keeps coming in and keeps going the way we are, and trying to conserve where we can. We feel confident that we're going to be able to keep our employees competitive with the private sector. So that's something that we're proud of. I'm sure some of you probably noticed that we're trying to take care of some of the facilities that we have. The facility next door to the county courthouse. During this coronavirus, we found out from every level that we have no space. The offices are on top of each other. The court system particularly is in a bad mess. So we were able to get approved to use some of this coronavirus money that we received to rebuild and update the facility next door to us to house the Associate Circuit Court. That will consist of Judge Hyde's staff. The courtroom will consist of the circuit clerk, Ashley Gum. Her staff will also move there. This will provide them adequate space to social distance. It will provide the citizens and the people that are coming to court space to be spaced apart and not on top of each other and sitting around inside the courthouse. We'll have separate rooms for them to sit and places that are spread out. So we're pretty excited to be able to get that done. Also, as you know, at one point last year, we had about 17 inmates in our county jail that were tested positive for the coronavirus. Unfortunately, we had nowhere to put them. The general population and the tanks that they have in there doesn't provide us with an avenue to separate people. So again, after talking to the state with the money, we figured that we would be able to take the garage that we had to Sallyport, and we turned it into a dorm style designated quarantine area, so we could quarantine people away from folks that are not sick. So we was able to do that, and that project has been completed. It's given us a lot of room over there to help folks if they do get sick. They don't have to be in the same room with those. So that's something that we're really proud of too. It turned out really nice, and we're excited about it. One other thing that I want to touch on is, we were able, with the money that we received from the CARES Act, we were able to provide monies to our school districts. Obviously, the county benefited in some of this money also with the projects that we did. Again, this was anything related to COVID, anything that that would help mitigate or help in the future for COVID. But something I'm really proud of was we were able to give about $580,000 to our county businesses in assistance in form of grants to help them. That was something that the MRPC region that we were, the region that we were in, they did not have, I think there was one other county that provided that. I think Mary's County provided some to the businesses. And so we were one of the few that did that. We provided, we committed $500,000. We went over that one. That's fine. I wish we would have had more that we could have gave. But unfortunately, it runs out. But I feel that was something that we needed to do. We talked about that extensively before we started, that we wanted to be able to help the businesses. We didn't want to see anybody close. We didn't want to see anybody lose their livelihood. I know it's been a strain on a lot of them, and there's still businesses hurting. I don't know what the next round of stuff coming out is going to do, if there's going to be anything for the businesses. If there is, we'll definitely look at that again. But it's been a challenging year, and we've got through it pretty well financially. Obviously, there's been loss of life and sickness in our county from this devastating virus, and we feel horribly about that. So keep those folks in your prayers. It's hit everybody. I think everybody knows somebody that's been affected by this. So I don't have anything else. If somebody has any questions, I'll be more than happy to try to answer them for you.
Well, thanks so much for updating us on so many things. I know I was very curious about a lot of the things that you mentioned, so thanks for that update. Is there anyone that has a question? If you do, be sure to unmute yourself so we can hear your question. You can also use the chat feature on there to send us a message if you'd like us to ask a question for you.
David, this is Donna Hickman with Congressman Smith's office. You may have said this, but I missed it if you did. Did you use the CARES Act money to rehab the garage at the jail?
Yes, ma'am, we did.
Great. And so once the pandemic is over, dear Lord, soon we hope, will that area then just become more space for inmates to be housed?
No, ma'am. We're going to keep that for basically a sick bay. We're going to use that for, if an inmate gets, the stomach flu or gets, something like that, where they could be separated and quarantined away from the general population to prevent, spreading of any other type of disease or anything. So that's that was the big thing that we wanted. It's not a huge area. I think it can house safely with social distancing and actually keeping away. I think we put about six people in there, but they're away. The air conditioning system is separate from the rest of the building, so we're not contaminating all the air. There's actually a little space where they can go outside. It's fenced, but we will, it will not be used for general population. We wanted to turn it into a quarantine sick bay, and that's what it'll stay.
I've been trying to keep up with all the rates around here, but what is the COVID rate in Washington County today? Do you know? How many cases?
I think we have positive cases. I think we have 14. Total cases is about 2,900. I think that's the last thing. I looked at it this morning, but I think it's about 14 positive cases, Don, is what they have. If somebody knows the exact number, please correct me, but I think it's 14.
It looks like the latest update is from a couple of days ago from the health department on their website. And our active cases as of the 22nd were 15.
Okay.
And that rate was the percent positivity rate, I assume is what Donna's talking about, was 4.6%.
Okay.
That was from the 22nd. Are there any other questions?
And I know, speaking of that, they are conducting another vaccination clinic today and tomorrow at the ambulance district. This will be, I guess, for the second shot for most of the folks that were here when the National Guard was here. I know we've got several employees from the courthouse that are working that today. So today and tomorrow, they will be doing that at the ambulance district.
I've got a question.
Go ahead, John.
Do you have contingencies in place or ideas in place in case the new Relief Act passes? And could you possibly share what some of those ideas might be? I realize that there aren't specifics necessarily for things, but do you have maybe a wish list that you're looking at in case those funds get released in the way that you can use them?
Well, I think a lot of it will be depend on, how Congress releases the bill on what they will allow us to do. We'll have to follow their guidelines. I mean, if it's the same that it was before, I think we will probably do the same way that we did. We'll look at, school districts. We'll look at, public service entities that deal directly with, the corona, and also small businesses. I think that, depending on how they release it and what the verbiage is and the bill that's released from Congress will set the stage on how we proceed. I don't know. I have not heard any indication of what they're going to do. I don't know what all's in the bill. I mean, we get updates usually every couple of weeks. But it's still up in the air on how they're going to administer it and what, they're going to allow the states and the counties to do. But, once the bill gets passed through Congress and is signed off, then we'll get updates from the state on what we can do with it and how we can do, and we'd know better then on how we would split it up and what we would do. But I think, again, we would probably still have MRPC do the vetting. It worked out really well for us at that time. The hundreds of applications that come in. I mean, there's no way that we have the resources in the county, the manpower to go through every one of them and to do the things that we did. But MRPC was a big partner with us in doing this, and we really appreciate that. And I think it worked well. I know there was businesses that got left out, and some of them were angry, some of them didn't understand. But again, we did the best that we could with the amount of money that we had. The key to that was getting your application in early. I talked to folks that, back in, June and July that didn't apply in November. So it was gone by then. So, but I think it would probably be the same way that we did before. If that's allowed by the bill that's passed by Congress, we would probably proceed with the same style that we did prior.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else have any other questions? All right, well, thank you so much, Dave, for taking time out of your busy day to update us. As you know, Dave works full-time somewhere else at a bank I shall not mention, and also works full-time as our county commissioner. It's a lot, and I think that all of our commissioners have done a great job to keep us updated and do what they can to utilize the monies in the best way for our people and our community. Thank you so much, Dave, for the update.
And I would just like to say, if there's anybody that has any questions about anything that has to do with the county, we have meetings every week. 2 of them are in the morning, 2 of them are in the evening. I'm available anytime. You're more than welcome to email me, to call me. I can meet you after work. I can meet you before work. I've done it a bunch, and I don't mind doing it. That's what I'm here for. If there's questions that need answered, we're here to answer those questions. So if you have any questions, please call me or email me, and I will get you an answer. If I don't know the answer, I will find out and get back to you. I want everybody to know that, that I and we as a commission are accessible to people. I mean, I know we don't have a full-time job at the county. We're not there every day, 5 days a week, but if somebody needs something, we're more than happy to help you out.
And I'll attest to that. Anytime we've needed anything, we've always been able to reach out to Doug, Cody, and Dave and get an answer very quickly. So thank you. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Alrighty, I'm going to move on to member announcements. If there's anybody on the call today that would like to make any announcement about your business or anything that's going on, now's the time to do that. Any promotions or special things? Donna's anything going on with the government we need to know about?
Well, there's always stuff going on with the government you need to know about.
Let's hope so, right?
As you probably know, Congressman Smith is now the ranking Republican on the Budget Committee, and so he is fighting that battle every single day, and deep into it this week as they debate the whole recovery plan that Mr. Biden has put forth. So he's in the news a lot, and you can hear and see his opinions on one thing or another regarding the budget debate. We in this office are doing a great many cases having to do with IRS, Social Security, VA. A lot of the federal government, as you know, is still shut down with people working from home. So they're not able to respond to the constituents' concerns as quickly as usual. And so we're still working hard on those. My colleague Jody is on an IRS call right now, trying to understand how best to advise folks who call us who have not received their stimulus. And of course, that's claimed the recovery rebate credit. And a lot of folks around here have not had to file those tax returns in a long time. And now in order to get that stimulus payment, they're going to have to do it. And if they don't have access to a computer, how do they get the forms? So all these different things that we're trying to run interference on so we can better serve the folks around here. So don't hesitate to call us if you've got an issue with a federal agency. We'll work through it together.
Well, we are very, very lucky that the congressman has you and your coworkers in the office. You do a great job of helping the people in our region. We really appreciate it, Donna.
Thanks. That's what we're here for.
Anybody else have any announcements? Heather, isn't there, doesn't Seeds have a program going on right now? I know I've seen a few things. Did you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, I can. I'm not sure if it would be of any use to anybody on the call right now, but we have a small dollar consumer loan program that we've started. It's to combat payday lending because everybody knows that those are crooked as all get out. And by the time it's all said and done, you end up paying about 495% interest. So what we have is a program. It's an employer-based program, and it's offered through a payroll deduction. So your employees can apply for a loan up to $1,000, and it's paid back through their paycheck over 12 months. The system is designed to not let them take more than they can afford to pay back out of their paycheck. So if they don't make a lot and they can only afford to pay back a $400 loan, that's all the system's going to let them apply for. Like I said, it's an employer-based program, so the employers sign an MOU with us, and then the only thing they are responsible for is verifying employment and setting up those payroll deductions. They're not responsible for the loans. They're not responsible for payment of the loans or repayment. That all falls on us. So the only requirement that we have is that you're headquartered within our service area. So Washington County, of course, would be included in that. You can have offices outside of that county, but your headquarters needs to be within that county.
That sounds like a wonderful program. And yes, predatory lending is terrible. They never get out of it. It's an endless cycle because they have to pay so much in interest.
They don't, and we've seen people use it for school supplies back in August, September, medical bills, car repairs, unexpected expenses that come up. It keeps them from taking out those payday and those title loans.
Well, and also for small business owners, some of our businesses are really small and their employees are like family, and it's very common for employees to get loans from their employers. And I think it relieves a big burden off of them.
Correct, and that kind of takes them out of that equation. They can say, well, we can't, however, we have this program that we can offer you. And then they don't have to make the decision as to whether or not, they're going to give anybody an advance on their paycheck.
Right. It's great. A lot of accountability there. So that's awesome. All right, well, I don't see many of our other small business owners on. We do record these and they'll be posted on our YouTube channel and shared on our Twitter and Facebook pages later. But I did want to say that we do have a whole lot of upcoming events. There are, sorry, Heather, I thought you were muted and you weren't, but anyway. Next month in March, there's the, oh, doggone it, I forgot the name of it, but it's the bunny hop. Angie, do you remember? I'm like, oh my gosh. It's an event in downtown or with our Potosi merchants for Easter, based around Easter shopping and things. And then First Fridays will be starting back up in April. We're super excited about that. The merchants have a lot of themed ideas, so each month will be a different theme. If you also look in the Caledonia area, there is they have a full list of activities throughout the year. Also, you can visit pages like the Village of Caledonia, their website and their Facebook page, and us. We share on there too. So please remember to check those out. And if anybody, does anybody have anything else? Okay, and as always, for upcoming member events, you can check out the ijnews.com, the Washington County Guide, and B104 also has a community calendar, any of those. And of course, we try to share as much as possible on our chamber page. If you have something, and I'm speaking to all of you who are listening now and who will listen later, please send us your information about upcoming events or sales or specials or anything that you want your customers to know about. We're happy to put that in our newsletter and post it on our social media for you. Help us to know about it, to let us know. So our newsletter cutoff is on Tuesday. Get it to us by 4 p.m. so we can try to have it in Thursday's newsletter, and social media anytime. Just let us know and we'll try to get that shared. So thank you everyone for joining us this month. And as I said, next month's meeting is on March 25th. Stay tuned as to whether or not that will be in person or Zoom. And otherwise, happy end of February.
Thanks, Janie, and welcome, Julie.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.